Hello, welcome to Darkest Hour Leveling Tips. My name is Thiel, and here is how to make an overview. So, I'm going to remake the Hill 400 overview because I could not find my original, which is bizarre because I usually save everything. But I just updated the boundaries, and so we now put the level minefield boundaries on the overview, and so I have to update the overview, and because I couldn't find my original, I couldn't just quickly make a few changes and then re-import it. So I just have to remake it. So I'm just going to show you how to do that, make a overview from scratch. The first thing you want to do is adjust your map boundaries. So what you want to do is I usually set a high grid value when I do this, but what I like to do is these are the level boundaries. This is the map bounds northeast, and this is the southwest. Sometimes these won't be added, so you got to add them. They're found under the actor browser. Let's see if I remember where these things are. So honestly, oh, there we go. RO map bounds northeast and southwest. All right. One thing I like to do is make them very large. You can do that here or in the draw scale. It doesn't matter where. If you do it here, you got to do it in both the X and Y. And then I also always turn on. Let's see here. Editor should snap, always equal to true. Then what I do is I set the location to 0 and 0 for X and Y, and that will make it at the world origin. For the Z, I just put in a value that's significantly high enough for the artillery, because I think the artillery system uses it to know where to spawn, so the height value is somewhat important. So you want to have it above everything that you want to have, like the artillery to call from. So like, if you don't want artillery spawning inside a bunker or something, make sure it's higher than the bunker. Okay, so I like to make them equal. The Z height, always make them equal. I hate it when they're at different heights. Okay, once you set it to 0, 0, unselect it, and then select it again. If you have a high grid, you can drag it around. I'm just going to duplicate one so I can show you how it snaps. And here, I'll show you setting it to 0, 0. And then unselect it, select it again. That way it updates the origin, the drag order, or the select origin. And then you can just drag it around. And the idea is to make it as square as possible. Sometimes it's not possible, but try to make it as square as possible. And you can use the measuring tool, which is to help you understand like the distance between them. It also helps to change the grid size so you can more easily see that snap. So it's 43, 45. Do I not have it perfectly square? 43. Oh, never mind, I do. Okay. So mine's perfectly square. You don't have to have yours perfectly square. But once you do that, you're almost done with the editor part. Save your level after you adjust these things. And then once you have them perfectly square, you want to zoom in to about right there. You notice how I can see these lines like that. And we're going to use those lines to help us handle stuff. So now what we're going to do is we're going to hit print screen a couple times to make sure it works. Then we're going to go into Photoshop and make a new document. And then paste. And that's our first one. We're going to get several more with different things activated. This one will be the terrain and static. Print screen. Paste. This one will be, you have to click back in the window each time for the shortcuts to work. Otherwise you have to right click and go up there and do stuff. Just make sure not to move the camera at all when you click. So make sure not to be moving the mouse when you click in the viewport. And then this time I'm going to turn off statics. We have the terrain, print screen. And then this time I'm going to turn on volumes, print screen. And then this time I'm going to turn off terrain and volumes and print screen. And that should be enough references, different style references. Now we're going to want to crop our references. So I zoom in to help me, and then I use the crop tool. And I come down here and I notice that line, I drag up. You can tell I'm pretty good at this, so because I've done it about 50 times. Then you just drag over a little bit and get it so it just gets all those lines. You notice how it centers on the square perfectly, and that is a perfectly square overview. Now these are just our references, and we want to make sure our reference is the correct size, so we're going to rescale this to 1024 by 1024, and then I begin copying them and sending them to the reference area on this. There's probably a faster way to do this part, but this is how I've always done it. So, and there we go. And now you basically go through each of these layers and do the work. I'm going to actually look at my original to see exactly how I did this. Did I not ever do an overview for this map? Maybe that's why. I don't know. I definitely did. See, as you can see, I did the forest there. Okay, pretty simple. And so I'm gonna turn on this view, and I'm gonna want to select the paint. There we go, and I just paint in the forests. Looks like I didn't paint around the roads, but I think this time I'm just gonna go ahead and just paint over the roads because it doesn't really matter. That's a field. Those are fields. That was bad. Let's undo that. Alright, let's see. There we go. Doing it in the wrong spot. And do that. I think I was just trying to make it interesting by fictionally coming up with forests and stuff. Alright, so what I like to do now is turn off the view so I can see what I'm doing and fill in any gaps I messed up. Then I can move to a bigger brush. Move the brush size around. And then I just go, and it's pretty much what I had before. Or at least close enough. Alright, and then move on to water. And I don't think there's any water on this map. So move on to roads. This is a long one. Not as long as the buildings though. And then here and start painting. Now I just do this by hand. I'm sure you could Probably make some filter that just gets this road texture and stuff like that, but I personally find that not as good. I like to do it by hand because it gives it a imperfection, which actually turns out looking nice. Or like hand drawn, sort of. I think there's a road that goes through there, but let's see if I did it in the original. Just trying to follow what I did in the original here. Oops, I think I messed that up. Let's undo that. There we go. And that is our road network. And what was I doing? Oh, buildings. And I will probably use this mode again. This is the time-consuming one. So I use this tool right here, and I just kind of outline the building like so. Once it's selected, I hit G, and I just fill that in. Do it again. What is this? Lasso. It's called the lasso tool. I thought the lasso was the squiggly one. Allows you to draw. Oh, there we go. Doesn't have to be 100% perfect. In fact, sometimes it's better not to have it 100%. You can actually do it multiple times, like what I'm about to show you. Just be careful, because if you mess up, you may. Let's probably do it like a few buildings at a time, and then fill them all. Really dumb that I had to redo this, but it's okay. This time I'll save it. Sometimes what I have to do is go back into the editor, go in 3D, and look at something. So I wasn't really sure how this building was formatted. I thought it was like one of these like L-shaped buildings or something, but obviously it's not. It's just a square. So I thought I was gonna go up that way, you know, but I'm just gonna make it square now, and make sure there's no buildings out that way. There is, and there it is. I wonder if I got that building in the other one. Yep, there it is. Oh, look at that road. Did I get that road? Yes, I did. Nice. Okay, so yeah, as I said, the buildings is what takes forever. Try doing it on a map with like an insane amount of buildings. This map isn't so bad. Zoom in a little bit. some jumbled mess. I can't tell what that is. Alright, it's this thing right there. I'll get it. It's got a roof. If it's got a roof, it's part of the building. Alright, and then across from there is long building. I zoomed in too much. There we go. Boom. A little bit more. I'm gonna turn on a different view, I think. Now, can an overview be wrong? Yes. I make mistakes. I don't always catch every building or something like that, but you can chalk that up to failure on someone else's part. I mean, like, not every map was 100% correct. You know, I can't tell if that's a building or not. That's why I go into 3D mode, and I think it is. It's bombed out, but or burned out or whatever, but it is a building, so I will map it. I already did that one. I don't map out walls. When I started making these made this overview template, I actually had a wall thing, and all it did, I feel, was just complicate the overview, making it hard to read. And oops, that was a mistake. I just found a little road that I want to map out here. Here we go. And it was just too hard to read. And not only was it harder to read, it was insanely like time consuming to just map out all of those little walls for so many, like, what do we got, like 32 levels, go through each one and map out all the stone walls. No thank you. I hope that's accurate. Let's go find out. One in front of the church. Yeah, that's good. And there's a little mini one right there that'll map out. There's other methods you can do besides this little lasso thing, or square lasso. You can also use the pencil tool, which in a way is more time consuming. I guess it depends on your work style. See, it's kind of hard to see this church, so I'm going to turn on a different view mode, this one right here, and just map out just the BSP, and then I'll confirm that and make sure it's correct. Yeah, that's good. And I guess I gotta map out these little grave things, which I'll just do real fast. Not only do I do buildings, I also do bunkers. Concrete bunkers. I don't do wooden bunkers or anything like that. Alright, so I think I have all the buildings. Good way to confirm is just do that. What's this? Oh, that's a crater. And I think that's it. Okay, so now bunkers. Same thing. Pretty simple. Oops. Sometimes it doesn't have to be perfect. Just to indicate that something is there. This is a underground bunker, but I'm gonna go ahead and map it out. I think that's it. Whoops. And let's see what I did in the yeah, see, I didn't even map out the bunkers. Look at that. I was lazy, or just didn't think of it. And like I said, I'm not gonna do all the little wooden ones here. And I think just the concrete ones. So that's buildings, and I just got one more step, and that is the boundaries, which I need to turn on a better. This one. This is the one I want. And then what I do is I enable it, and then I click the mask, and then I use this good old tool, and I think about this, and it goes right there. This is the minefields. Helps to know what the hell it is you're doing, or what all, like, know the boundaries of the level. Where's that line go? Somewhere in there. Damn, I'm colorblind, I don't see it. Ah, it sucks. Alright, let's do it like that. I'm gonna zoom in now and see where this goes. Goes up this way. There we go, I can see it now. That was embarrassing. I think I'm doing this wrong. Yes, I was. Alright, there we go. Now, I feather it, so I go to select, modify, feather. You can also do Shift F6. Yeah, screw that. And then I just 4 to 8, somewhere in there. 6 is good. Turn that on. I make sure the black is the foreground, not the background, I think. No, I wanted the background first. Whoopsies. Alright, and then I hit delete a few times, just kind of bleed it in a little bit. And then I think that's all I did for the old one. Yeah. So now we are done, and we can just turn off the reference images, and there it is. Here we can compare. Let's compare the old one. with the new one. Somewhere it's right there. You see the forest has changed a little bit, the roads have changed, and it's kind of cool how it just kind of, it's all morphing. Yeah, you can see how I've changed things. You know, it looks like I forgot a house. I see a little house show up. Let's go fill that in. Oops, wrong one. There we go. We're just gonna trust that we had it right before. And now it's there. And that is an overview. So now all we're gonna do is first of all save it properly here. Bill 400E. No, get rid of the E. Bill 400. Save to my overviews. And file to save as. Desktop. DDS. Oops. DDS. Save it as that. Whoops. I need to close it out. I can close out my references. I don't need those anymore. Okay, I close it out. Now I can file save as, desktop, DDS. I can override this finally. No bitmaps. No alpha. DXD1. Save. File, import. Do not generate bitmaps. Hit OK. One thing I like to do is come in here and set it to interface, which it already is, because I've already done it. And that's it. That is basically the basics of making an overview with my template. Oops, I don't need to see that. I can see this.